another veteran who has played a leading role. Ndamukong Suh has been getting rave reviews from his coaches on his leadership. Bruce Arians called it tremendous, and that Suh is, quote, teaching guys how to handle themselves. The Bucs coach also went on to say Suh is like Brady when it comes to his preparation. So, Shannon, I start with you. Suh used to be really one of the biggest villains in football here. Are you surprised by this transformation?
I'm not surprised, Kevin. He realized that being a villain cost. It was very expensive. Doing some of the things that he was doing on the football field. Yeah. I think, Skip, I think what happened is that people mature. You should not be the same person today as you were 5, 10 years ago. And I think he has a family now. I had him on my podcast about a year ago after he won the Super Bowl, Skip, and he was talking about how he has a family and how, you know, he's married and having a child on the way. And, you know, the way he approaches the game. And he's like, you know, I said, well, you know, what's Tom like? And he says, here's a guy that just comes in, he does his job, he speaks to everybody. He says, you know, no different than me. I come in, I do my job, I take care of my body. I know what's expected of me, and I go do that job. Skip, people don't, you know, people just look at him now, bounced around. He was at the Rams last year, you know, spent some time in Miami. But his first couple of years in Detroit, it's hard to press there'd been a better defensive tackle than what this kid was.
I buy that.
He was special. Mm-hmm. And if you watched it in his college games, there hadn't been a more dominant defensive tackle. You might have to go back to Warren Sapp.
I said before his draft, I would take him first overall.
I said the exact same thing. He's special. And I think the thing is, Skip, is that where he is now, as opposed to where he was then, he got his emotions in check, his anger. Because if you did something to him, it didn't matter. Not only was he going to take it out on you, he's going to take it out on your quarterback also. And so he talked about being at the University of Nebraska. Warren Buffett's a big, I think he's an alum of Nebraska, but he was at a game and he ended up meeting him, and they became very good friends. Mm-hmm. And he talked to him about things and about, you know, hey, you know, he realized that, you know what, I'm giving $70,000, $100,000. I can take this money and I can invest it. And he speaks about generational wealth and not doing foolish things that's going to put that in jeopardy. And so for me, I just think he's matured. I think he's grown up. He's at a different place in his life. And we should mature. We shouldn't be the same people today as we were 5, 6 years, 10 years ago. And in him, Skip, he comes with credentials. He's a defensive rookie of the year. He's been an all-pro player. He's been to multiple Pro Bowls. He's one of the most accomplished. JPP also had won a Super Bowl, but he's one of the more accomplished players on that defense. And so for me, I just think the thing, he's been there, he's done that. He's been a very good player. He's not the same player that he once was when he was in Detroit, but he's still a damn good player. Now, don't underestimate him. You saw him in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Don't underestimate him and think he can't still play.
So for me, when I read these quotes from Bruce Arians last night, it was borderline LOL for me, because I sat back and thought about all those days on ESPN. We would do entire shows on the biggest, baddest villain in pro football, in Ndamukong Suh. He was it.
He was it.
And if we could just remind everybody some of the incidents he was involved in. It started on Thanksgiving Day back in, what year was that, 2011. That was the Tebow year. This is a big 2011 show we're doing, a requiem of 2011. That's that.
Evan Dietrich Smith.
Yep. He's the offensive lineman, and he gets up and, ooh. That cost him, right? And I think we did like a 2-hour show just on that play right there, just on that stomp.
And remember, he stomped on Aaron Rodgers' calf?
We're about to get...
Okay.
That's next.
He ripped Colt McCoy's helmet.
God. Are we about to get to Aaron Rodgers? Here we go. Just stepped on. Just gave him a little step there. That cost him, right? And then there was a Ryan Fitzpatrick play. Do you remember this, where he sort of kicked him in the head? I think it's maybe more than sort of. I think he just kicked him in the head. Ooh, he goes by him and kicked his helmet off. Ooh. And that cost him some more money. Okay, so he cost himself a lot of money, but he was seen as the biggest, baddest man in pro football. And if you had told me back in those days that
he would turn into this.
That a coach would say about him at some point in his career, he's teaching guys how to handle themselves, you would have been laughed out of town, right?
Absolutely.
It would have been straight Saturday Night Live skit,
like you're right.
Yeah, like right. He has become a leader of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. So I'm going to say it one more time. You cannot tell me this is not the Tom Brady effect, where Brady walked in, changed the whole culture. I kept telling you he's going to turn into Tampa Bay,
right?
The Patriot way in Tampa Bay. And Sue looked at Brady and said, "That, so that's how he does it. I could do that,
right?
Because he's a good guy. I've been around him in my days at ESPN. He's a good man at heart. You can just tell by talking to him."
Skip, the thing is that when I did the podcast with him, the way he talks, he's soft-spoken,
right?
But the way he plays, he's old school Deacon Jones, where they rip your head, anything goes.
Yeah.
And when I'm like, I'm like, how does this? You talk like this and so even keel and so low key, but then when you on the field, you trying to kill somebody.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
And so I'm like,
Mr. Hyde's scary.
Yes.
But Mr. Hyde has to learn anger management on a football field where there's a line you cannot cross.
Yes.
You got to swallow that.
Yes.
You just, at the end of the play, if it's over, you just got to swallow it and go to the next play and take your anger out on him across from you when they snap the football.
Right now, Skip, he don't even try to take the quarterback down. If you notice, he shoves all the quarterback. He said, because, you say I landed my body weight on him. He's like, I'm a big man. I mean, what you want me to do? You want me to fall down first and then pull him on top of me?
Yep.
No. So he just shoves everybody down. Well, Patrick Mahomes says it feels the same to me.
So if you'd told me 5 years ago that both Sue and Antonio Brown would win rings together on the same team, I would have laughed you off this set.
Right.
But it happened because Tom Brady said, I want you, AB, and I want to play with Sue because I believe, because you don't think Tom knew from his Miami days just what a force Sue was? Yeah, I want Sue on my side. And once they're on his side, they say, oh, that's how you do it. And we can win this way.
Well, you over there talking, you better worry about Sue and Vita Veda and JPP and Shaq Barrett. With your quarterback hadn't played one snap in 11 months.
I already wrote it off. I already told you I have chalked that up as one giant L. My team will be at your restaurant that night when their plane lands. They'll have to do a little detour to LA, but they're going to have to come see you at your loser's restaurant and they're going to have to order L's because that's going to be a big old fat L.
David White, Levante David, Zeke.
Antonio Winfield in that backfield, he'll just be
Zeke,
off
how many times you think Zeke does this?
I don't think we'll see that at all. And by the way, I did forget to mention Zeke on Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
He's taking happy pills. What's gotten him?
He happy, yeah.
He's like giddy happy.
I ain't never been. Skip, I having a good time with training camp, but I was never all that happy all the time.
Where'd they put in those sunflower seeds? I want to get some of those.
But he looked. I mean, like I said, I don't know what he was like in Detroit. I don't know what he's like in Miami.
Yep.
He played well next to Aaron Donald and the Rams. Skip, remember they went to the Super Bowl, ended up losing to the Patriots. But I would have never thought leadership in Ndamukong Suh on a championship caliber team.
Right. Antonio Brown has a ring. Tom Brady. Yeah. Thank you very much.
But you got to be, AB, hopefully is a different player today than he was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Because he realized, you know what, I'm about to be up out the league. Because the NFL will move on without you.
He got his knee fixed. Brady got his knee fixed. Look out, NFL.
Okay, look out, NFL.
Yep. Well, prohibitive favorite.
They're not the prohibitive favorite. No, they're not.
I think the league also needs to take note of this guy, CeeDee Lamb. Is he ready to take over and be the Cowboys' next elite superstar on offense? That's next.
No mercy.